Renton, Washington. The Seattle Seahawks quarterback battle between Geno Smith and Drew Lock might not be decided anytime soon. Coach Pete Carroll said Tuesday that the Seahawks will take all the time we need to settle on a starter, noting the 2.5 weeks they have between Friday's preseason finale against the Dallas Cowboys and the September 12 opener against Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Carroll said Smith remains ahead but that he's wide open to the possibility that Lock could overtake him. Carroll didn't specify when he had initially planned to make a decision but said it changed when Lock was sidelined with COVID-19 last Tuesday, 2 days before he was set to make his first start of the summer in Seattle's second preseason game against the Chicago Bears. Lock returned Sunday and has taken part in all 3 practices this week, sharing first-team reps with Smith on Tuesday. Carroll wouldn't reveal who will start Friday but said again that Lock will play a lot. "I'm wide open for whatever happens," Carroll said. "Geno's been the guy in the lead position the whole time, and I've protected that thought throughout. He's done a really nice job. He's been very consistent, so we'll just see what happens. There's 2 more weeks of practice, too, after this. I had a set thought on what we would do with the timeline but that got disrupted, so we're going to use all the time we need." Editor's Picks, Preseason NFL Power Rankings, 1 to 32 poll, plus a hot seat watch for every team, 14H NFL Nation, NFL Preseason Week 2 takeaways, Falcons QBs air it out, Giants Daniel Jones looks poised, 23H ESPN NFL Nation reporters, Smith has taken most of the first-team reps. He started the Seahawks mock game and then their preseason opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers a week later. The plan was for Lock to start against Chicago and then go from there. Lock took all the first-team reps last Tuesday but struggled while feeling sick, testing positive later that day. "Today's a really big day for me to find out what they look like today," Carroll said before practice. "A guy's coming back from COVID. He made it back 2 days ago, did fine, made it through yesterday in all the walkthrough stuff, did fine. Let's see how he goes today and we'll see where it fits. But I'm not closing the book on anybody competing for their spots. We have 2 enormous weeks coming up. The finish of this one, then, next week is a huge week for us and then we come back with another full week and an extra day. So we've got a lot of time here to work it out." Lock, acquired from Denver in the Wilson trade, outplayed Smith in the August 6 mock game at Lumen Field and was having a strong night against Pittsburgh with a pair of touchdown passes until committing a late gaffe. He lost a fumble when he was failed to account for an unblocked rusher off the edge. Until Seahawks coach Pete Carroll selects a Week 1 starting quarterback, he'll constantly be asked about the selection process. On Tuesday, he got a curveball of a question, and he provided a curveball of an answer. Asked whether he would consider playing both of his quarterbacks, Geno Smith and Drew Lock, Carroll said this: "That could happen. Yeah, that could happen. Plus-size women's short-sleeve button-down seersucker shirt by woman within in vivid red gingham, size 3X, add, full beauty, plus-size women's short-sleeve button-down seersucker shirt by woman within in vivid red gingham, size 3X, that would be something. Because it's something that few NFL coaches ever do." For now, Carroll seems to be focused primarily on picking Smith or Lock for the Week 1 assignment against the Broncos, now led by former Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson. Currently, Carroll is deciding how to divide the reps in the preseason finale against the Cowboys. "We've got it worked out where we are figuring out playing time right now," Carroll said. "Drew needs to play a lot of football because he missed a game due to COVID. So that's the main thing to get done this weekend. This game is really important because it's kind of the makeup deal. I'm going to make sure to take care of business on that." Carroll doesn't rule out the possibility of Lock overtaking Smith, who has led the competition throughout the offseason and training camp. "I'm wide open for whatever happens," Carroll said. "Geno has been the guy in the lead position the whole time. I've protected that thought throughout and he's done a really nice job. He's been very consistent. We'll just see what happens. There's 2 more weeks of practice too after this. With a timeline, I had a set thought of what we would do with the timeline but that got disrupted. We're going to use all the time we need. But Lock definitely has a real chance." Carroll specifically said on Tuesday that "these guys are so even right now." Carroll has no qualms about taking his time to make the decision. And he wonders whether the time-honored cliché about having 2 quarterbacks could eventually be turned on its head in Seattle. "Geno has done a really good job of being in that position," Carroll said. "His voice is solid. He's on point all the time. He's been very consistent with his work and all of that, and Drew has been really sharp. I know it's not supposed to be a good situation when you have 2 quarterbacks and it means you don't have one is the old saying, but I don't know though we might have 2 number 1s. We'll see what happens. We'll have an answer sooner or later. In 20 days, the Seahawks face Denver. And maybe, in the end, the Seahawks will decide that they have two starters, and that they'll use both of them. That curveball strategy would definitely throw a wrench in the preparations by the Broncos defense. Pete Carroll doesn't rule out using both of his quarterbacks, Geno Smith and Drew L.
Position the whole time, and I protected that thought with throughout, and he's done a really nice job. He's been very consistent. So we'll just see what happens, and there's 2 more weeks of practice too after this. So there's where the timeline. I had a set thought on what we would do with the timeline, but that got disrupted, and so we're going to use all the time we need.
Would you ever consider playing 2 quarterbacks at once, or is it?
That can happen. Yeah, that can happen.
Have you ever done that?
Not really, not with the same sense. These guys are so even right now that that we have a lot of respect for both their play, and so. But I'm not thinking that way right now. I'm thinking of getting going and getting started, ready, rolling, and all of that. And Geno's in the mentality, has been in that mentality the whole time, and that was very much by design.
There's a little less fanfare in the final days of training camp. Without fans, it's definitely more quiet, but increasing in intensity ahead of the final preseason game. Hello, it's Daily, and there has been...
I've been getting reps, but the focus goes directly to the guys who are going to do all the playing. And so the scripts and the preparation of the practice and the design of it is to make sure that they're ready to go now. So that's a clear shift for us.
Drew Lock returned to practice, looking to make up for lost time last week after testing positive for COVID.
I still need to see him play and need to see him fit in with our guys and all that. He's done really well till now. That opportunity was going to be a big one, even though I knew that the preparation for it wasn't great. Just wasn't adequate for the prep that a guy wants for his first chance to start a game. But we'll see how he goes this week, and he'll planning on playing a lot this week.
This week is also a chance for players to make a final push for a roster spot or a more defined role on the team, which is what cornerback Michael Jackson is in line to do.
I think Mike's had one of the most outstanding camps of anybody. I think he's had one of the best camps of anybody. He has been solidly consistent. He's been challenging the whole time. He's had 4 or 5, maybe 6 different chances to make a hit in the game, and he's hit every one of them. Been physical every time. He's played fast. He's played aggressive. He's played confident. And so he's had a fantastic camp. He just kind of got a chance when the other guys were out, and he took full advantage of it.
Coming up, hitting, covering his butt off. So he's gonna surprise a lot of people. So I think he's gonna be good.
I'm a blue collar guy. Like, I'm not flashy. That's just how I was raised.
His physicality has shown up in the highlights. He credits his ability to keep it simple and trust his technique. Plus, he has always been a student of the game, going back to his time with Dallas, the team that drafted him, Detroit, and New England.
Every other team I've been on, I had a Pro Bowl corner in front of me. It's Byron Jones, J.C. Jackson, Gilmore, Slay. So those are 4 or 5 different guys who bring something different to the game. And I kind of took something from each one of them and just try to see how I can also still be Michael Jackson, don't be them.
Michael played in just 2 games last season, week 17 and 18 to close out the schedule. But he found ways to get reps all year long and gain confidence coming into camp.
Last year, I just looked at it, it allowed me to show what I can do. Like, y'all only seen the last 2 games, but the first 15, 16 weeks of the season, I'm on scout team. I'm taking the reps serious. Like, that was my game. That's how I treated it. And I feel like it showed when I got to the game. I was comfortable. I was in my element.
All right, I'll play it again. Yeah.
My posse's on Broadway.
Me and Kid Sensation at home away from home in the black Benz limo with the cellular phone. I'm calling up the posse. It's time to get to ripping. I'm freaking each sunroof to keep you suckers tripping.
Hi, I'd like to hear the new song Posse on Broadway by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
All right, I'll play it again. Yeah.
My posse's on Broadway.
Tripping.
How are you hanging? Are you holding up? I'm good. You know, I feel blessed.
It isn't because the times aren't challenging and tough. It's been crazy, hasn't it?
There's fear on all sides. There's grief on all sides. The challenge is for us to love each other. The real work is, can I love myself enough that I can love you enough, that you can love yourself enough, that you can start loving me.
We all have to do some kind of work. This is a matter of us all having to create a gap, because there is this chasm that all of us have to be inside of the conversation.
And at a certain point, I want to fight fire with water. If I can bring some level of understanding and at least a sense that I don't hate you, I'm not going to let you run over me. I'm not going to let you dehumanize me ever. But I'm not trying to dehumanize you.
Please listen and follow.
Well, Neil, what's up?
Hey, dude.
It's great to visit with you again. Amplify Voices is a thought we have. We're trying to find people that really need to be heard and want to be heard and have something on their heart they want to share.
One of the things that we've been talking about with different people is, of course, the domain of leadership and how you treat one another.
Let me comment just on leadership. I don't think of myself as a leader. You know, what is a leader?
Yeah.
I'm happy to do things that you like. Does that mean I'm a leader? And I don't think of it that way. Can you have followers without a leader at the front? And I think you can. I'm a servant of your interest. Yeah. So I'm not your leader, I'm your servant.
Please listen and follow Amplify.
Our group of nurses, nurse practitioners, anonymous, how grateful we are for all of the work they've done to help us carry out this whole process of testing and taking care of all of the COVID issues. What's this? Oh man, look at these shoes. Yeah, these are awesome. I'm gonna wear some cleats, some shoes in the game here that one of our local artists created for us, Corinne Hernandez, working with a group called Urban Artworks, has brought these to me. I think they look pretty sharp. I can't wait to put them on and wear them. And you know, whenever I'm wearing Monarchs, I'm doing okay. So this will look strong. This local group, Urban Artworks, is doing a bunch of great work. They are helping young artists in terms of jobs and placement and giving them a chance to be seen and heard. We have a group that we work with, our company is called Amplify Voices, and we've worked with them on a couple causes here. And we're really proud to be able to represent and help young artists be seen and be heard. And amplifying people's work is really something we're excited about.